Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I can't tell you guys how thankful I am that you guys have chosen to join me on these series. Thanks so very much. I appreciate it so much. So I wanted to make a quick video about a series that I wanted to start on my channel. The series is going to be dedicated all to talking about INFJ-ISTP relationships. So the reason why I decided to make this series is because I have seen that these two types just tend to attract each other a lot. I am an INFJ, my husband is an ISTP, and I see that INFJs are often attracted to ISTPs, and then I couldn't really find any information online that gave good content about these two personality types and why they always tend to attract each other. So I decided that I know a little bit about INFJ-ISTP relationships because I'm in one. So I decided that I would make a series and compile some information that I found elsewhere, as well as input in my own personal experiences from my relationship, and see if this can help anybody else out. So my husband and I met through some mutual friends when we were in high school. We dated for a little bit, but we were so young, and I think that we were just at different points in our lives and we just didn't really know what we wanted in the future, so we broke up. And then fast forward 12 years, I was 26 years old. I was living and working in Virginia. He was 28 years old. He was living and working and going to school in Charlotte, North Carolina. And then we had some mutual friends on Facebook, and so that's how he found me again. And we didn't have any hard feelings about the breakup in the past because that was just so long ago and we were pretty much just kids. So then there was this one weekend where I wanted to go to a festival. So I didn't want to go alone. I know it's kind of weird for an introvert to not want to be alone, but I didn't want to go alone. So I threw an open invite on Facebook. It was just like, I'm going to this festival. Does anybody want to come? And then he and a couple of my other friends said that they would come along, and then he and I rekindled on the trip, and as they say, the rest is history. And that was 5 years ago, and now we're married. We have a 3-year-old son and we have a pug together. I love my husband very much. I know what it was about him that drew me to him. And you know how sometimes they say the thing that attracted you to your partner at first is the very thing that you end up hating the most about them? That is kind of true for us. So I loved how my husband was confident. He was very logical. He was very smart. He was very level-headed, but at the same time he was so carefree and he was so down to earth and such a free spirit and so fun-loving. My husband loved about me that I was a very caring and loving person. I was very methodical in everything that I did. I always did the right and responsible thing, and I was a very hardworking and organized person. So we've been married for, it's gonna be 4 years this year. And I could say that the things that I used to love about him have now turned kind of gray and cold. So where I loved about him that he was so smart and so logical, now I kind of see it as he's really stubborn and he's unwilling to reason with me on a lot of things. Whereas I used to love that he was a free spirit and he was so carefree. That can now sometimes translate into him being a little irresponsible, deferring responsibilities, and always wanting to go out and seek new adventures and seek new experiences, which I just don't have the energy for as an INFJ. So he used to love about me that I was very caring and loving, and I'm sure that now these days he would probably say about me that all I ever want to do is just spend time together. I'm always complaining that we don't have enough time together, and he kind of misses his independence. And I'm sure he'd probably say that I need to get more hobbies and leave him to his more often. So whereas he admired about me before that I was like a very like careful and methodical and organized person, I'm sure that now he would probably say about me that I'm uptight, I'm perfectionistic, I hold people to too high of a standard, and that I am unrelenting and unforgiving of people who slack off. We love each other very much, but I can say with a lot of certainty that a lot of our disagreements and the hardships in our marriage really stem from and boil down to the differences in our personality types. How I'm intuitive, meaning that I need to see like the bigger picture, whereas he's a sensor and the present moment is what's important to him. How I'm a feeler, I make decisions based off of like my values and my beliefs, but he's a thinker, so like logic and rationality is more important to him than feelings. And how I'm a judging type, so like I always need to like plan things, but he's a perceiving type. He works better just handling matters as they arise. So our personality differences really serve to explain why I'm so bothered whenever like every little piece of like clothing is not in their proper place, and why he is so bothered when he's not able to just let go of some responsibilities and just, you know, like suddenly change his mind and just decide to go fishing this weekend instead of like, you know, doing some repairs on the house that I've been waiting for him to do. So if I had not discovered MBTI and realized that my husband is just merely programmed a particular way and I am programmed in a different way, I may have interpreted his need to always seek out like new physical experiences as him being like irresponsible or inconsiderate or even toxic. And if he had not discovered MBTI and realized that I am programmed differently from him and I have my own different preferences and my own different methods, he might have misinterpreted my constant, you know, need to spend time with him as me being like controlling and me being like fun hating and even toxic. So this is the reason why I decided to dedicate my YouTube channel to talking about MBTI and why I am making this series on INFJ and ISTP relationships. Studying MBTI has kind of given me the system by which I compartmentalize and organize these sets of patterns of interaction that my husband and I have. And it has helped me tremendously to make sense of why we clash in certain ways. And it helps me to anticipate more ways in which we're going to continue to clash because of who we are at our core, because of our personality differences. It helps to remind me that there's nothing wrong with him, that there's nothing wrong with me. We are just different, and when we come together, there is going to be an inevitable reaction. So just like whenever you put baking soda and vinegar together, there is going to be an inevitable reaction. It's going to be fizzling, and then there's going to be an explosion. So some people would say that is an absolute disaster. Don't do it. Those two chemicals do not belong together. They're just going to make a huge mess. But if you absolutely must mix baking soda and vinegar together, it could make a very good match when you use that chemical reaction purposefully. So you could use that chemical reaction to clean tough stains that other name brand cleaning chemicals would not be able to clean. Or you could use it to make like one of those like volcanoes and take like first place at like your third grade science fair. So baking soda and vinegar can absolutely be a good mix, but you just have to make sure that you're intentional when you're mixing them. You have to be mindful about the measurements of each material, that you're being intentional with the reaction that it's going to create, and that you're going to be prepared for the potential explosion and mess. So in the same way, INFJs and ISTPs can seem like they are absolutely wrong for each other, but when these two people realize the chemical reaction that they have when they get together, and they are intentional about what they are going to do with that chemical reaction, then they could make something that is absolutely beautiful. So my husband and I are not perfect. We have not perfected our chemical reaction together, even after being together for 5 years. But I had decided to make this vlog to just talk about our journey, and hopefully it will give insight to those of you who are going through the same things that we go through, or the things that we have been through, and hopefully it'll give you more hope for your own relationship. So thanks for joining me on these series. I look forward to creating more content and getting feedback from you guys in the comment section below. Thanks so much.